I don't know exactly how many years it is ago. It was in the evening and there was a little match. I saw a blonde guy and it was like a lightning in the night. Oh, quick he was. He was outstanding. It was of course Kevin De Bruyne. He was obsessed by football. I think he still now is obsessed, and at that time also. The only thing he wanted to do was to play, and that was his obsession.
Mijn favoriete ploeg is Liverpool en mijn favoriete speler is Michael Owen en daar zou ik graag willen bij spelen.
I've always watched English football. My mother grew up in England. My grandfather still lives, so it was always match of the day for me. Yeah. I never looked at the Belgian football. I always looked at match of the day on Sunday morning.
The 2 seasons I was the trainer of his team was very easy for me because we won all the matches. Because I said to the boys, give the ball to Kevin, he dribbled and he scored. Of course, everybody knew him in the whole Belgium. When we played against Anderlecht, Kevin De Bruyne. And then we played the final of the cup and it was against Genk. And we won. And before the match, he came to me and said, trainer, I'm a little bit injured. I said, you're injured, huh? You don't start the match. I think that I put him on the bench but I said to my company, to my trainer, said, no, his head was red as a tomato because it was, I said, Kevin, no, you're injured. You stay here. No, said, you stay. And after 2 minutes, I said, no, I'm short with him. I put him in and he scored 6 goals. And then, of course, after the match, the trainer said, hey, that one is Kevin De Bruyne. And he was asked to go to Genk. But I think in the first place, his parents preferred that he stayed here. But then they gave a whole planning of his career. And then he went in the family there. And so he left us when he was 13 or 14 years.
In Genk, when I first started to play the games, they always said I was too young, too skinny to handle the physicality at that time.
We started off playing against each other, so I knew him quite a bit. And then he came to us when he was 14, so we became teammates and then also friends and went to school together. He was shy and quiet, a little bit like now, but really focused on football. He had a bit of a temper when he was on the pitch, not off the pitch, just because he was focused on winning.
Kevin was not the most easiest of the boys. He was a character, but everybody loved him because when he was in the team, we won.
We always became champion at our age, so we only knew what winning was, not losing. When he got to go to the first team and played his first game at the reserves, then he got a little bit of fame because he scored 5 goals in 1 half, I think. Then he got his transfer to Chelsea.
It is a big shock in the beginning because obviously I was doing really well in Belgium. We won the title and all these things. We're playing Champions League, but you don't expect to go from Belgium to play for Chelsea.
It's pretty crazy to think back on it because we knew it was going on, we knew Chelsea was interested, and all of a sudden he just texted like, deal is done. For a guy from Belgium to make this transfer to such a big club was unbelievable. Did pre-season with Chelsea and then he got his loan to Bremen.
This was a Werder Bremen team that had played in the Champions League not long ago, but was a little bit on the way down. And he basically immediately walked into the starting 11 and immediately imposed himself.
I knew up front, like if I'm 20 years old and I'm going from Belgium to Chelsea, there's no chance I will play. If I can show myself in Germany, do well there, the regard for that competition is much higher than Belgium is.
At Werder, in the Bundesliga, a really reasonable standard, very fast, quite similar to the Premier League in the way that the game was being played. I think it was a perfect opportunity for him to show that he was now good enough to start games at this level. You could see that he was beginning to blossom. When De Bruyne came back to Chelsea, he had the odd start. You know, he was in and around the team, but he did not become one of the first names on the team sheet. There was a lot of speculation that the relationship between him and Jose Mourinho had perhaps broken down, but I think it was much more a banal situation really, where every manager has the kind of players that he feels he can rely on, and De Bruyne, for whatever reason, wasn't in that bracket.
He wasn't playing, and he wanted to play, so he wanted to move, but he wasn't angry at Chelsea or Mourinho. It's been always going upwards for Kevin, and Chelsea was the only point where he got stuck a little bit in his growth as a player.
I'm 21 years old, 22. You think differently than I do now. But I was doing my job well. I was training hard, and in myself I had the feeling like I'm doing what I need to do to try and get a chance. If you don't get it, then you have to make the decision for yourself if you want to stay and fight, or do you want to just be happy with your role, or I felt for me at the time was better to go permanently and have a different situation than going on loan, come back again and facing the same problem.
When he came to Wolfsburg, I think already at that point people in Germany almost couldn't believe Wolfsburg luck, because they had seen him firsthand at Werder Bremen. They could see that this was a real player in the making, and the fact that Wolfsburg managed to get him was a huge surprise.
Kevin De Bruyne in Wolfsburg, it was the best player in Germany in that season, so the quality is there.
They were competitive, they won the German Cup when he was there. They were able to build a team around him. I think it really hit the sweet spot for him, and he made everyone look better, including himself.
I had the option to go to Munich, PSG and City, or stay in Wolfsburg. I felt the way that City were chasing after me, how the people were talking to us, the plan a little bit with all the people coming in, like Raheem in the first summer and all these people. I thought for me the probability of the type of football that I can play will suit me the best after leaving Wolfsburg.
I think there was a real sense of disappointment from neutrals to lose one of the best players, one of the outstanding talents that we had seen in this decade in Kevin De Bruyne. But when Bayern failed to offer the same kind of money that Wolfsburg were asking, when bigger teams came in for him, and it was clear that he was going to leave the league, I think there was a sense of loss and regret. And I think Bayern now, if you'd ask them, they feel this is one that got away.
Manchester City have completed the signing of Kevin De Bruyne from Wolfsburg with a club record fee thought to be in the region of £55 million.
Seeing how they play and seeing how Kevin fits in perfectly, it's pretty cool to see.
If Kevin De Bruyne isn't the best player in the Premier League, he's certainly part of a clutch of players who are at that level and who do bring consistently top-tier performances to their team.
The way he's grown in the last 2 seasons, I think his relationship with Pep Guardiola and Manchester City is allowed him to flourish as a footballer. Kevin De Bruyne is the ultimate playmaker because he can find a pass that no other player can find. But then he does it at tempo that he doesn't disrupt the moment of the game. Is the opposite.
Kevin De Bruyne is first and foremost a team player, and he will look to perform the role that's asked of him of his coach, but the level he's playing at right now, he can make a difference in any game, and Belgium have a few players like that.
I think there's very big pressure. Well, they always call us the golden generation because they expect us to eventually win it. We have a very good team, but we have 23 players. 25, but we cannot choose between 50 players, 100 players like other countries. We're very small. So already to have that squad is something exceptional. But if everything clicks for us, then we can do something nice. I really think that, but we need to find something to do well in the big games. That's what we've been lacking until now.
No, for me, he's just Kevin, but when I look at the bigger picture, it's quite unbelievable what he's doing.
We always say, yeah, Kevin played here. Yes, we are very proud.
He's a big inspiration, yeah. Especially for all the youth players in Genk. I think they can dream bigger now.
I said a few years ago that he will be one of the best players in the world. And now he has to prove it in the World Cup. It's the moment. Now it's the moment to show the world that he's maybe one of the best.